How's it going? YouTube Coaching today with another video, and today guys what to bring to you is where to Handtrap. Now this is going to be a very comprehensive list because I don't usually add tier 2 and rogue in here, but there are a couple decks that I really want to touch on just to make sure that you guys don't like randomly lose to one of them because you don't know where to stop them. There's a lot of like various decks that I played against, and I've just kind of taken notes and mental notes, just trying to think about like where are the best places to hit them. So I think I've come up with quite a good list for you guys. I know that you really enjoyed this series so far, so if you do, like, comment, and subscribe if you're not already. This channel is really just here for helping the general community, and I just want to be able to outreach to many people just so I can try to help them as much as possible. Not many people have access to this kind of information, and many people to test around, so I just really am a fan of being able to help the community as much as possible. So without further ado, guys, let's hop right into the first deck here. If you guys do enjoy this video, like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, so to start here, we have Salad. It's kind of cut off here. It says if they're going first. I have two different ways that I like hitting Salad, and there's reasons for that. The first way is that you Ash Mirage Stalio, so they get cut off their combo pieces like Gazelle, Jaguar. You Beller Meister the Jaguar because you want to be able to draw as many cards out of their hand as possible. So if they're forced to use Will or like Spinny Effect to continue their turn, then like they have less cards in hand to interact with you. So like let's say they end on 1 instead of 2 in like one set, then the max that they have to interrupt you is 2 cards. So that's really important though, because it's like a really easy way to break their board when you know exactly what they could have and you just play around it. So like if they have Ash, you do this instead of this. If they have like Roar, you do this instead of this. And there's ways to bait it too. So I really think that's just really important information to have. And the next thing here is on the second wolf, you want to Veiler or Imperm the Sunlight Wolf, just so they can't get back their trap. They can't get back the monsters when they summon the arrow. A lot of very, very important things here, just to note. But the deck itself is still kind of relevant. It has a lot of grind games going for it. So there is a way to hit them going second as well. Ashing the Stalio stays the same. You're going to Bell the Will, though, because you just don't want them to get so many monsters on board for free. It's just kind of dumb. So definitely just Bell the Will, and then that's just a good way to shut them off. Another thing, too, is that you want to Veiler or Imperm the Transcode Talker. Very, very important, though, because a lot of people are getting kind of smart now, and they'll use Transcode Talker and then summon back Update Jammer, and they won't make access code because you can't target either of them, and then they'll just swing for game. So this is something that you really have to be careful of, because a lot of people are starting to do this. Don't like hold Imperm for access code. I don't know why, but I've seen people doing that, and it just like makes them lose. You can hit the Gazelle here, but like it really depends on the game state and how much you think they have, because it's like the lesser of the two options. But like I almost always wait for Transcode Talker just because I don't want to die to 10,600 damage access code, right? Swinging twice is a lot of damage. But moving on to the next deck here, we have Infernoble. Infernoble has this Auroradon as part of their key combo, and they really rely on being able to summon Deskbot 1 back to the board. So if you can Veiler or Imperm the Auroradon, it's actually so crazy because it makes them stop playing altogether. This is like such an important combo piece for them that if you can stop this, they literally pass to you. It's kind of crazy. So next time that you're playing in a game, I know it's really tempting to nail like the Fiber, the Isolde, but just wait for the Auroradon, Imperm it, and just see what happens. I'm telling you, it's probably one of the most free games you'll ever have. Moving forward, though, we have the AI deck. So this deck is really interesting because you kind of have to put them on you don't have Field Spell. Because if they normal Chi-Chi and search Pakari, I still will hit Infant with Imperm. And you should always be hitting the Infant. But if they normal Pakari, I almost always will hit the Templar. But if you have a read on them and you know they have the Field Spell, then you can just hit the Templar. But I've also seen them make full board without Templar. So I almost think it's almost always important just at Dark Infant, because you gotta put them on you don't have Field Spell. Because if they don't, they truly just cannot do a whole lot. So this is something that you really have to know against AI. I know it might not always seem correct, but like Infant is just a correct hit. At the end of the day, it just is. Moving forward, though, Mech Knight. Mech Knight is a truly scary deck that I've seen many times just come in so dangerous, especially against me. Like I have a very hard time against this deck sometimes just because it's so oppressive. Like they can do so much. So with the purple, you always want to Imperm Veiler this one. It's not like banishing for cost. It is a quick effect, but just chain Imperm Veiler to this effect, and they just go like so neg because they really need the zone, and then they also just like don't have this then, right? which is really nice because they can't like search the blue sky and go crazy. Same thing with ashing the memory, just so they can't get to their purple. The last thing here is that you really want to bell Secret. Secret's probably like the best card in their deck, and you really just have to be on top of belling this thing because you just don't want this to be on the board. It's very scary when Enda goes out, so make sure this goes away ASAP. Moving forward though, PK, so this one's kind of hard. I would say that definitely impriming Anaconda is your best bet. Impriming the Rusty seems kind of lackluster. It's like okay, but like you have to watch what they're doing game one because there's a chance they couldn't be playing Dragoon, but most of them are. So I would just wait for the Anaconda and Phantom Knight. I wouldn't even worry about the Rusty because at the end of the day, this is gonna be like IP double Fogblade Rusty. The Exceed and Graveyard, and then Dragoon. And I think the scariest part about that board is literally just Dragoon. So I would just hit the Anaconda here. Next, if you guys ever go up against the Wing Beast deck, the Raid Raptor, the Blackwing deck, you'll randomly see this for some reason. Like, it's still played. So you definitely want to Imperm or Veiler this card. Ash is very mediocre to it, but if you can Imperm or Veiler this card, they literally stop playing. Like, they'll pass turn to you. If this card doesn't go off, they literally cannot play the game. It's kind of wild. But Imperm and Veiler in this thing is just nuts. Moving forward, the Dragon deck. So I put everything in this video just so you guys kind of had it all in one place. So you always want to Imperm or Veiler the Chaotic Ruler so it can't mill into a hand trap or go kind of burr with this thing, get like Levy or Safer. This card is just way too good right now, so just make sure that you always hit this. Ash and Chaos Space. So it's kind of a double-edged sword because if you Ash Chaos Space, it should be GG, but if they Gamma you and you don't have Bell to respond with, like, it's going to be a bad time. Like, Chaos Space is so good, especially when they resolve the Gamma and then make Needle Fiber behind it. Like, that's so crazy. Like, you're going to die. So, again, it's a very double-edged sword. You have to be very careful about that. Next up is Quad Boral. They always go Quad Boral before they make Boral Savage. Usually they'll make like Hot Red first. So I'll always bell the Quad Boral just so I have one less to negate in the board. Just is better off in the long run to always do this. I really enjoy this play because usually they're already locked into Dark, so they can't like commit an Appaloosa either. And then they also can't commit the Heretic Seals depending on where they're at in their turn. So it's just a very, very good bell hit. The other one is Meistering the Heretic Seal in the graveyard, so they can't summon like Chamber from the deck and then like loop Chamber and Tiding. A lot of people Meister like Abzorrouter, but there's so many ways for them to get to Tracer in the deck that like I wouldn't even be concerned with Abzorrouter. I'd be hitting the Heretic Seal because some still play Brotar. It's kind of cut out now, but it's still a nice way to get to Levineer. But even if not, right, they get Chamber and Tiding, which is equally broken. So always want to hit this in the grave. Just so much better to nail. Next up here is Flutter. So Ghost Ogre is actually going to be like the best hand trap next format if you guys are unaware. It's actually so good. Imperm or Veiler the Eagle. They have Book of Moon to dodge that now, but like this is just the best one to hit because this actually like searches the big bird. All the little birds don't really do anything. This one actually searches the problem card. So always hit this one first. Now, as for map, just ogreing the map is so good. It's so fire because then they don't have it. You can freely normal summon on your turn. Like the map hit is just so spicy with the ogre. With Tri Brigade, this one's pretty straightforward. I didn't add Rescue Cat onto this, but you always want to Imperm Veiler or Ash the cat. They will have cross out. I'm telling you right now, like, there's probably gonna be a card. So just be very careful about that. But just always want to find a way to out the cat. I didn't put cat on here though, because this is strictly off pure tribe. But Ash the Fractal, you want to Imperm or Veiler the first name that they put up, not just Fractal, but like whatever name they summon first and banish to. And lastly, this is a forgotten interaction that you guys really have to be on top of next format, is the fact that Ghost Ogre versus Appaloosa, if you activate Fractal and then you go Appaloosa and negate and then you chain Ghost Ogre, the Appaloosa will die and not negate because the Appaloosa has to lose attack for it to be able to negate. And that's something that's very important to know. So Ghost Ogre is just absolutely cracked, especially in those interactions. Moving forward here, this is the Sword Soul deck. Sword Soul is going to be pretty free, I think. You can Imperm or Veiler the normal summon that they make, so Moe or Taiye. You can Ash the Chi Zhao so they can't add Long Young and make the Baroness to Flare. Also, you can go ahead and Ghost Ogre the Mo Yi or the Tai, because the most that they can do after that, they'll be stuck with the token. And then you'll watch them summon Long Young. And then from there, the only thing they can do is make a 10. So they'll make Grand Duke, or they'll make the Baroness to Flare. And they'll have like 1 negate on their board. So it's not really that scary. So Ghost Ogre just kind of cleans up a lot of things about this next format. Next up here is going to be Drytron. Drytron's pretty free right now outside of Dragoon. Reason being is that you can Imperm or Veiler Mubeta Fafnir, which is no resources for ritual summoning. They don't get the free dump. They don't get a negate if Draconis is on the board. Ashing Nova so they don't get the free body. And then what makes Drytron so free is that if you open Meister or Bell, if they go Meteonis Drytron, target a Drytron monster to add it back to their hand, and then you Meister or Bell it, they cannot commit ultimateness to the board, and then the only thing you have to worry about is Dragoon. So it's really cool because they're locked out of Link summoning for the, they're locked out of Ritual summoning for the rest of the turn because they can't get to their spell. So it's really nice just to see this go down when you are playing against Drytron. If you ever open one of these against this matchup, if you can auto Dragoon, the matchup should be completely free. Unless they randomly just have like the orange light. But like if you like set your hand down on the table and you just like watch their combo and then like you just flick Meister at the spell, a lot of times like they're just gonna lose. I've seen it happen way too many times now because I've been kind of telling a couple of people like, hey, maybe you should Meister the Drytron spell, and then everyone started doing it, and then it's just been free. So very, very important to know that. Moving forward, so we had the virtual deck. If you're playing against this, always hold the Imperm for your turn to nail the Shen Shen. This is just super detrimental. Shen Shen's too broken right now, and being able to just like banish things is just kind of crazy. So always save this for the Shen Shen so you can combo. The only thing you'll have to play through is like the Chuche, so not really a big deal. Bell the Lao Lao and then Ash the Lulu. Don't Ash King Long because King Long just searches the Lulu and then you'll get hard punished if they open the Lulu. So just don't do that because I just don't want to see you guys lose to them just being like, okay, activate Lulu, you know? Like that would suck. So these are the correct targets here. Next up is Striker. So what people don't realize is that multi-roll is a heart and soul of Striker, and if you stop multi-roll, a lot of times you just stop the deck. If you set Imperm in the multi-roll combo column, it's just very, very good. Being able to shut them off of those resources that they think they're going to get is huge. Another thing, too, is Ghost Ogre, again, with this next format, being able to hit the multi-roll is cracked. Just because they'll go end phase effect and your multi-roll, or your Ghost Ogre the multi-roll, and then it's just like GG. It really depends on how many resources they hold in hand, but like this is like such a power thing to hit. The next thing up is Bell and the Kagari effect, and then Bell or Meister on Ray effect and Grave. Moving forward, against the Dyno Deck, this is a deck that no one really respects right now, but it can still kill you even with one Miscellaneous Aurus, especially with Prosperity. Having so many different ways to get into their combo. It's still a deck that you already have to respect. So this is the line of play, I would say, is Imperm or Veiler on the Army Adorn. Still a very, very good card. You still want to hit it. Ashing the Pill, again, UCT is kind of cracked. And then using Ash or Skullmeister on the Miscellaneous Aurus. This is very important, though, just so they can't get to their Army Adorn. And you always have to keep that in the back of your mind that you are allowed to just go ahead and Meister or Ash and Grave because it only protects things that are on the field. Next up is Prank Kids. You can Bell the Bow Wow on your turn. Don't Bell on their turn because A, you're susceptible to TTT, and then B, if you do it on your turn, then you can kill cards on their board with card effects, which is very, very good, especially when you're playing Striker. Makes the matchup very, very free. So that's just something that you really have to know because a lot of times they'll like leave the kids that they need to fusion summon in the graveyard and they'll add it back off the Bow Wow, and that's just like super detrimental. So hitting the Bell on the Bow Wow on your turn is just so crazy. Next up is Ash or Meister on their first kid effect. You guys should know that. But moving forward here, against the like pure Dragon Maid deck, you always want to hit the Kitchen Dragon Maid first, then the Chamber, but it's basically whichever one they normal summon. Whichever one of these are on the board first, make sure that you guys are interacting with it because this is just trying to search this. And if you can stop this, but if they're going this first, then stop this. because you don't want this to go off, but they only have a way to like summon once unless they draw the spell. So this is definitely the one you want to hit. Next up here, we have the Evil Twin deck. Again, this is another situation where you hold the Imperm on your turn for the Trouble Sunny. You just want to be able to get this off the board as fast as possible. They'll chain it. They'll summon both the red and the blue. And then they'll always, like, if you clear, like, blue, then they'll just bring it back with red and pop a card. So you have to be really careful about that. But this is the best thing just to, like, get off the board immediately because they will tribute it, like, immediately when you Imperm it. The other thing is you don't want to like Imperm or Veiler like one of the effect monsters. Hit the Link 2 because when the Link 2 is trying to summon back an effect monster, don't let him summon out both the Link 2s. Just let him do one. And when they're summoning out the other effect monster, that's when you Imperm or Veiler. And that's really good because you make them waste another resource that they could have top decked into. So I think that's way more important to just hit it there and just kind of let the Link 2 live. Because again, if you are playing like the Light Charmer as well, you just get a free Link 2. If you're playing like Striker, you get a Link 2 in the grave as well. It's just very, very good application all around to be able to maintain these on the board. Instead of just the effect monsters. The last deck I have to bring to you is the Bug deck, Bee Trooper. So this is something that you really got to know, is that you want to Meister or Ash the effect of Resonance Insect before they keep looping Resonance Insects, which is always a bad thing to see. Make sure that you stop this immediately. The other thing is Veiler Imperm on the Pico Finalia. This card is so good as a Pot of Avarice and then a free tutor out for the Resonance Insect. So both of these cards are very good options to stop as far as the Bee Trooper deck goes. So guys, if this video did help you, please let me know down in the comments below. I love doing videos like this just because I like helping out the community. I am trying to push for that 2K subs though, so I really hope that we can get there soon. I just want to keep making more videos, and I am a Metafy coach now. If you guys do need a coaching session, don't be afraid to go over there, check out my profile, see what it's all about, and then maybe sign up for a coaching lesson. So I'll catch you guys all in the next video, and I hope you guys all have a great night. Thanks.